So, I'm gonna start making videos again, but there's a few reasons why I stopped that are worth talking about in order to avoid repeating them. And it helps to know where we started in order to understand how I got here. By learning how to make videos, they lost their magic. When I first started learning how to create in early 2018, what I really wanted to make were YTPs and edits. I didn't want to write scripts. I didn't want to show my face or my voice. I wanted my art to speak for itself, and video editing was the most accessible way for me to do that. It was fun. It made me feel different from my peers who didn't know what a mask or a keyframe were in middle school. I was proud of these skills. But in building those technical skills, the old videos that inspired me slowly lost their luster. I had surgically reduced them to their mechanical components. A cut here, masks there, what kind of color grading did they use? Questions like that. In my exacting analysis of these techniques, I gradually lost my connection to what had struck me about my favorite creators in the first place. Their raw, unyielding honesty. They felt very, very intimate without saying a word, on a level that was more profound than language. To even attempt to codify its essence with words would be to desecrate and degrade its own wholeness with cheap replication. To make something that felt like such a direct, intimate window into the creator's soul was something I admired constantly, over and over again. I would watch these YTPs, AMVs, edits, whatever you might call them, over and over again in the way that one revisits the same scriptures to commune with God. GilLiesHere, Awful Fawful, Sight of Delirium, or Trixie the Golden Witch before and after her transition. They were the muses of simulated intimacy at a time when I didn't have access to nourishing closeness in the real world. At several points I was moved to recreate those sorts of experiences, but I was scared to be as raw as them. What if, I don't know, my mom saw my work, or those old friends from middle school I used to work so hard to entertain? They'd know it was me. I wasn't so protected by anonymity in the places that mattered. Those kinds of sincere, relentlessly sincere projects open you up to a lot more criticism than a satirical shitpost when people realize you're really trying. And so, timidly, I kept the true depths of my ideas hidden, but that only made me more inhibited and less happy. Second, once I lost the drive to make videos for the pure sake of themselves, I became distracted by the hope of material return on my investment. I didn't want to make videos for my own amusement. They weren't just a hobby anymore. I wanted recognition, I wanted comments, I wanted subscribers, I wanted attention. But most of all, I wanted to keep that sting of rejection at bay when you spend days working on a video that gets 20 views. I started to obsess over analytics, watch time, when people click off, why they click off, but it was all speculation. I had no idea why the numbers would show what they showed. I tried to keep the editing fast-paced and frantic, like I had to pretend I was Mr. Beast, grabbing people's attention and strangling it out of them with sound effects, visuals, and pacing that didn't leave a tenth of a second open for your brain to process more than what's right in front of you. And then I actually tried to watch a Mr. Beast video after many times doing this. Lauded though it may have been for its excellent performance in the algorithm, I was immediately disgusted by it and turned off. I could immediately tell that these creative choices were made to farm watch time from iPad kids whom they'd hopefully convert into zombies who want nothing more from life but these products of endless amusement. And so, subsequently, I put on a slower pace with my most recent video. I gave time for my ideas to simmer, and I cultivated an environment where people could become interested instead of trying to psychotically rip them away from their lives so they can be addicted to YouTube shorts or whatever the fuck Google wants me to do on here to be successful in their eyes. So of course I wasn't motivated to make videos. I didn't want to exploit people's time. Why would I? I'm not even making money from them. And even if I started to, it wouldn't pay the bills for a very long time. So why treat my work like a product of desperation? One thing I've learned from the comments I receive on these is that people don't want gloss. They want substance. I received a bit of backlash on my Stanley Parable video for inserting too many pointless memes when the substance of the video itself was already fine. I thought a couple of the gags were actually funny, but most of them were functionally the same as dangling keys to keep eyes on me, and everyone saw through that pretty fast. Quality isn't characterized by glossy veneers. It's not enough to design a set of visuals that would have been technically impressive to my middle school friends anymore, purely for the sake of being technically impressive. Rather, I needed to point those skills towards a purpose of some kind. Editing and compositing on their own don't seem to be enough in a post-AI world where people can hardly tell if you even made anything by hand or not. The last flaw worth highlighting, besides my terrible audio mixing and the voiceover always being too quiet, for the sake of cautionary advice, is simply my lack of belief in my own standards. If you're familiar with my work from years ago, you might remember a commentary video I made about childhood crushes on video game and cartoon characters. The video ended up being a lot of fun to work on, but the biggest mistake I made with it was obsessing about other, more successful creators as a standard for my writing instead of listening to my own intuition about it. I would rewatch DeGenerosity's video of the same premise over and over again to see if I could craft mine around whatever features led him to success. And yet I still didn't copy him in practice. I did my own thing, so the concern was pointless. In a way, I now stand relieved that I sit in a current no man's land where nobody has tread the path I want to pursue. There is no chief inspiration to imitate anymore. Imp Lemon is not the same. I'm not the same, and no one is the same as me, and I can't trust them to know what's better than I do. I just want to make my videos, even if I don't know what they'll be yet, but in a way that's sometimes as exciting as it is scary. I hope you guys join me for it. Shout out to me. Oh, dude. Yeah. I hope you join me for it. Honestly, bro, I thought the fucking mic was off.